U.S. Steel turns down a buyout. Marketplace Morning Report is supported by C3 AI. C3 Generative AI provides ChatGPT enterprise search that is verifiable, secure, and accurate across all enterprise data. C3.ai. This is Enterprise AI. This week, looking at how cities are recovering from pandemic-era shutdowns. What got our attention was a study from the University of Toronto looking at which downtowns are improving and which are not. We can learn something from cities in California specifically. That state alone is one of the top 5 biggest economies in the world. Today we visit one of the most improved cities when it comes to revitalization, Fresno. Marketplace's Nova Safo visited and filed this report.
For decades, Fresno has been working to revive its downtown core, where large 1920s-era buildings sit mostly empty. A key part of that effort is to entice people to downtown for something other than office work. Like a monthly street festival with food vendors and merchants called Art Hop. It takes advantage of a Fresno strength. Artists and galleries have moved in, where businesses have moved out.
So this is the Japanese art of raku, but I've Americanized it.
Artists like Nanette Matos, who runs Clayhan Studios.
We are membership focused. We survive and pay the rent, and all the funds that the members put in go towards this.
The space Matos' organization occupies is cavernous. She says it was once an auto dealership. In the back, there's a workshop and kilns. Finished pieces are displayed out front. Matos says she would not have been able to afford such a place elsewhere.
If you are willing to be a part of the growth and get into these older places and help revive it, there's a great opportunity for affordability.
Fresno's downtown also benefits from regular crowds that show up at its minor league baseball stadium and from a diversified workforce that has to show up in person. Healthcare workers at a major hospital, factory workers in giant structures in downtown's periphery. So, foot traffic in downtown Fresno hasn't just recovered from the pandemic, it's surpassed pre-pandemic numbers. And now the city wants to add more residents. We're entering a giant, empty concrete and brick building. William Dyke, a developer, is unlocking heavy metal doors. So this is where the JCPenney used to be?
They occupied the entire building. Yeah, it's 6 floors above ground, 1 below.
The JCPenney building has been empty for 3 decades. The inside is nothing but concrete beams and dusty floors. There are giant holes in the center where escalators used to be. Dyke plans to build 140 apartments here within view of the baseball stadium.
We don't have any concern about filling the units. Downtown has one of the hottest residential markets that's out there. 1, because it's becoming more popular every day, and 2, there's a very limited capacity. There just hasn't been a lot of residential built.
And that's pricing out people with lower incomes.
We have an affordable housing project that just opened with 57 units that had 4,000 people apply.
Elliot Balch is president of the Downtown Fresno Partnership, a public-private initiative. Balch hopes that as more apartments are built, price pressures will abate, both in Fresno and in the surrounding areas of the San Joaquin Valley.
A future valley which is healthier, more sustainable, inclusive, and economically dynamic place to live, it's going to look more like downtown, and downtown's going to be more successful as part of that story. It has to be.
So you see this as key to Fresno's future?
Yeah, and the valley's future.
In Fresno, California, I'm Nova Safo for Marketplace.
Tomorrow, Nova heads to San Francisco, whose economy is 10 times the size of Fresno's. But unlike Fresno, San Francisco's downtown is stagnating, despite having many ingredients Fresno lacks, including cultural draws. We head there tomorrow in search of answers. Let's do the numbers. The Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ futures are all up by less than 0.5%, with the Dow future up more than 30 points. The 10-year Treasury yield is unchanged at a little more than 4%. Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Amazon Business. From small business to big enterprise and everything in between, Amazon Business helps simplify the supplies buying process. Amazon Business, your partner for smart business buying. And by Sotero, a ransomware defense company dedicated to protecting data with its patented algorithms, detecting and stopping attacks in minutes. SoteroSoft.com. Embrace real-time protection. And by Odoo, focused on providing all-in-one open-source business management software with fully integrated applications for every business need. More at odoo.com. Now, U.S. Steel, the Pittsburgh-based steel manufacturer founded by J.P. Morgan and Andrew Carnegie, it rejected a buyout bid from competitor Cleveland-Cliffs yesterday. The CEO of U.S. Steel says the company is now reviewing its options, and it says it's gotten other offers from multiple unnamed sources. Marketplace's Henry Epp is here with more. Good morning, Henry.
Hi, Nancy. Yeah, so the bid from Cleveland-Cliffs valued U.S. Steel at about $7 billion, according to media reports. The deal would make the combined company one of the globe's larger steel makers in an industry that's dominated by Chinese businesses. According to press releases from both companies, Cleveland-Cliffs originally made its offer in late July. U.S. Steel CEO David Burritt says the companies were then in discussions to sign a non-disclosure agreement, but those talks seemingly fell apart, leading both companies to go public with these details of the takeover bid over the weekend.
So, Henry, these companies both have roots in the U.S. that go back well over a century. So why is Cleveland-Cliffs going after U.S. Steel now?
So Cleveland-Cliffs has been on a bit of a buying spree in recent years, and it seems to want to keep that going. It acquired another Ohio-based steelmaker and most of the U.S. assets of a European steel company in 2020, and that's led to a major uptick in the company's annual revenue. Both companies have also benefited from higher steel prices in recent years, due in part to supply chain issues in the wake of the pandemic and to import tariffs on steel imposed by the Trump administration. And one more note about this deal, both companies employ thousands of union workers, and Cleveland-Cliffs was quick to point out that the union, United Steelworkers, gave its support to the takeover bid.
Thank you, Henry.
Thanks, Nancy.
You're welcome. We're expecting earnings reports from some big retailers this week. Home Depot, Target, and Walmart are all scheduled to report profits. Consumers appear to be getting more cautious with their spendings. Retailers are also worried about retail shrink, their term for things like shoplifting, errors, and damage. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer with the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.